In my exhibition, not as it was, but as it might be, the drawings I made during my walks through the public gardens and parks along the shoreline of the Georgian Bay became the foundation for a series of abstract paintings in which the landscape appears only in hints. In my practice, I often engage with landscapes already perceived as ideal, botanical gardens, parks, and conservatories. But even in their tranquility, I feel compelled to deconstruct and reimagine them. This impulse doesn't stem from discontent, but rather from a desire to explore what lies beyond the surface and to find meaning in the spaces between longing and fulfillment. In my paintings for this exhibition, I play with perspectival interruptions and awkward beauty. Shadows don't quite make sense, and there's this tension between surface and depth. My process of drawing while walking really adds to that. Moving through space while sketching means I'm capturing lines and shapes from multiple perspectives at once, which creates this skewed, layered effect. It feels like being immersed in the garden and reconstructing it at the same time. The title for this painting is The Center Holds, and it's a reference to Yeats and then later Joan Didion about how things fall apart. But here the title flips that idea on its head, suggesting resilience, or maybe a fragile hope that amidst chaos, something steady still exists. In the painting, elements are stacked at the center. There's a sense of precarious balance as these abstract forms build upon each other, almost like the composition is holding itself together despite the odds. A white crystallized tree perches delicately at the top of a waterfall. There are many waterfalls in the area where I live. I consider them a symbol of transformation. They are constantly in process of becoming, a reminder of the consistency of the passage of time. I use the symbol of the archway in many of the paintings in this series. There's often this sense when you approach an archway that something mysterious will reveal itself on the other side of it, something unknowable, a promise of magic. It's an ephemeral feeling, a fleeting sentiment that slips away the moment I walk under the archway. The title, Towards the Unseen, suggests a journey or focus on something just out of reach, something intangible. In this painting, that idea is reinforced by the screen or window at the center. It's a surface we expect to see through, but instead it obscures more than it reveals. The window functions as both a barrier and a point of curiosity. The composition plays with perspectival interruption, where the natural elements like the garden in the foreground are abruptly sliced away by the architectural structure of the walled windows. It's as if two distinct spaces are colliding here. One organic, dark and grounding, and the other structured and light and suggestive of another world. I thought of the title Heat Shimmer for the mirage-like quality this painting seems to capture. The perspective is intentionally disjointed, like you're trying to make sense of a space that refuses to settle. Then there's the tree. It almost feels alive, not just alive in the natural sense, but animated, like it's watching or leaning into the scene with purpose. Maybe it's a figure disguised as a tree, or maybe it's the way my memories imbue everything, trees, light, shadows, with a kind of presence that feels human. In the end, what I'm trying to do with my work is take apart and reorganize these spaces I encounter in a way that attempts to satisfy an innate longing that is just stirring at the edge of my consciousness.